Hey, Shalom. All praise unto Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honor to the apostles of GMS. Honor to your brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. It's gonna be a quick hit video regarding this article here, and this is the sentiment that's being carried out throughout the whole world right now. You got this war that the Mosai is having it to where these nations are going out there in the Middle East, out there in the Valley of Jehoshaphat, like it's spoken about within the book of Joel, the third chapter. Okay, so you know, you got it to where some of the major fighting forces, that being the U.S., Britain, as you're going to see in this article, okay, they're going to be making certain preparations, especially that of the people's mentality towards this war. So if they carry on pushing out news like this, okay, doing different articles like this, then you're gonna have a situation where people are acclimatized to it, and the new boogeyman is not gonna be ISIS or ISIL, okay, or terrorists or anything like that. Okay, that's gonna be coupled all into one thing, which is Russia. Okay, because the newspapers, if you work in the newspaper firm, they tell you that you always need an enemy, a boogeyman. Okay, right? If you was out there in the Reagan era, that was communism. Okay, in the Bush era, that was the war against terror. Okay, all right. In the Obama era, that was the war against ISIS. Okay, and the Trump era is gonna usher in the war against Russia. Okay, so the war against Russia is gonna be the Lord, the third world war that the Mosai set up to happen within this earth, man. Okay, and that's what you have being pushed out here. Because why? Because like the scripture says, okay, the Lord has it to where His word goes out there. It ain't gonna return unto Him void. But you still got it out here to where Jake's talking about how that, this kingdom's gonna continue on forever and ever, and how we should build up this, that, and the third. But you ain't supposed to be in that spirit. You're supposed to be in the spirit of hastening the day, and hence the reason why you get videos like this from brothers in GMS. Okay, and you ain't gonna get it from brothers out there within these different Israelite camps, man. Okay, because they're not hastening the day. Okay, they're not hastening in the day. Their mentality is to be comfortable in this society. Okay, make as much money as they can possibly do. Okay, and build up some kind of psychological fortress for them, whether it be build up a church, okay, or build up some sort of a house or anything like that. But the scripture talks about how you ain't supposed to lay up your treasures within this kingdom, but rather more to lay them up in the kingdom of the Most High, man. Okay, and in the spirit, see that statement there, you gotta be spiritually, astute to understand it, because here it is, you're pushing this word, you're pushing this work. Okay, you're hastening the day. That goes up into a tally that you can't see. Okay, if you're out here within this world, you're pushing Esau's work. Okay, you're slaving over Esau's jobs and so on and so forth. Okay, of which you're supposed to work and provide yourself with some sort of raiment. But notwithstanding that, okay, if you're out here and your motivation is the money and the society within this world, okay, which are the perishable things that's gonna, burn up within this World War III. If you're doing that, okay, yeah, you're gonna have something tangible, okay. But just like how the scripture says, those riches don't profit nothing in the day of destruction, man. So without much further ado, let me get into this article. So it says here, Russia could wipe out Britain on the battlefield in an afternoon. It says UK Army's own think tank. Okay, all right, and what's happening is these different countries are playing out different scenarios. Okay, all right, of the impending situation that the Mossad is summoning up out here. So they're saying, okay, well, if we're gonna go out there, or we're gonna get dragged into a war, or they're gonna show you being part of NATO, they're gonna be dragged into that war. If they're gonna be dragged into that, what do we have to do? Okay, do we have to bolster our military arsenal? Okay, do we have to bolster the guns that we got? Okay, the military personnel. Okay, it says the UK military capacity has been hollowed out to such an extent, okay, that it could lose its entire fighting force in a single engagement should a threat from the east emerge. Okay, claims a new paper from the Authoritative Center of Historical Analysis and Conflicts. Okay, and it says the document was published following a 2-day gathering of Britain's leading military experts and officials. It says although the paper admits that the country might not be facing an immediate although the paper admits that the country might not be facing an immediate risk of a direct attack from a foreign state, okay, right? It states that there is a plausible scenario in which the UK could be dragged into a war, say with Russia, for example, while supporting NATO, okay, while supporting a NATO ally. So when you have situations where Israel bombs the hell out of Syria, okay, and you know that the Russian president Vladimir Putin is in support of the Assad regime, of which Assad is he's the president of Syria. Then you've got something to where a World War III could pop off right there. That's seen, as far as Russia is concerned, and the old Soviet Union, which is being roused up. That's seen as NATO attacking the old Soviet Union. Okay, that's how these treaties work. Okay, if the treaty that they have between the understanding that Russia has between the Assad regime and the understanding that is Israel, right, the Israeli government, okay, that being okay with NATO and then hence Britain, okay, that could see a World War III pop off. So when them things pop off, we get excited because why? Because we know that we're in that time, not just of rumors of war. We're actually gonna we're getting into the times of war now, man. Okay, right? So we're actually in war. Okay, right? So when you read in the future, when you read the historical books, you would have said, oh, World War III started this, that, and the third, and I'm sure. Okay, the dates that we're living in now, they're gonna classify that as as part of that World War III. Okay, so reading that bit again, it says, say with Russia while supporting a NATO ally. So, for instance, if Russia had decided to retaliate when Israel bombs Syria, well, guess what? Britain would have been dragged out into there, and they're saying there's a plausible scenario that's gonna play out, man. Okay, so that's the spirit that the Most High is pushing out there. So I'm gonna read a little bit more. Okay, and then I'll call it quits. Okay, so it says here, this raises an important question: is Britain's army ready for such a possibility? If one merely sees a preparedness to a net manpower and kinetic force capacity, the answer might be a simple no. Okay, the British Army is at its smallest and has suffered years of budget cuts. All right, says research paper. So I mean, it goes into it and how pretty much how the UK is spending and so on and so forth. But the point I wanted to make about that is how Britain is seeing a plausible, and we've been talking about these plausible scenarios to where Russia, okay, is going to come up against NATO and America. Why? Because it's within the scriptures. Now we're just deciphering how the scriptures going to play out by way of these news articles, by way of how these armies are being spread across Russia's borders and so on and so forth. So with that, I'm going to say, all praise unto Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, double honors the apostles of GMS, honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.